small, quite tiny. Oops. I dropped it. Hey everyone, Captain Foley back for another Eaglemoss product review, and today we're going to be looking at Commander Cocking's favorite ship, the USS Prometheus. Here it is here, number 25, fortnightly, every 2 weeks. This is issue number 25, Prometheus NX 95650. Down here's some little stats on it. Launch 2374, maximum speed warp 9.99, length 126 meters, multi-vector assault. Cool little ship. Not one of my favorites, but it has really grown on me the past little while because, you know, this is a commander, so I see it quite often. We've talked about it. And once you get the model in your hand, it's actually pretty nice. So we're going to take a look at this. As usual, you open up the book, you got the instructions how to get on the stand. My book is bent, actually. Like, bent. So that's not cool. Anyway, here we got the specifications. Got a great shot of the Prometheus from the front. It does look kind of imposing. And down here are the specs that we're going to take a look at right now. Registry, NX 59650, class, Prometheus. Constructed Beta Antares Shipyards. Launch 2374. Length 126 meters. 15 decks. Top speed 9.99. Weaponry. Type 12 phasers. Photon and quantum torpedoes. Love how they put those on 2 lines. And features multi-vector assault mode. As always, they've got the little close-up pictures down at the bottom there, but we're going to take a look at the model, so we don't really need those. So here she is, Prometheus splitting apart for multi-vector assault mode. Up there you got a picture of it all together, down here as well. Now this was designed by Rick Sternbach, who we've talked about this ship. Fantastic design, cool that it splits into 3 ships, very versatile that way. This experimental vessel was designed to split into 3 and mount a devastating attack. Here it is here, attacking Federation ship, a Nebula class, but you know it's from a ship in a bottle, so you know the episode. Some shots of the interior, the bridge, sick bay there, and of course Andy Dick as the other doctor. But what are you gonna do, right? So this is the first ship to have holographic emitters all throughout the ship, unless you take into account Discovery, because they apparently have holodeck or holo emitters everywhere for their communications. So that's a thing. Here you've got the ship separation, the different planes that it separates on. Really nicely done. But all 3 vessels look kind of cool. The top one's kind of loses it for me with the little pop-up nacelle there. That seems like a little odd. But here you have it from the front with the split mode. Again, this middle one is probably the best looking one out of all of them. Or this one. I do like this one. I just wish I had more on top. But yeah, there you go. Next page is a great ortho shot of the ship. Lots of great angles and shapes in this thing. Kind of big and bulky at the front, and very small nacelles, which is one of the reasons I wasn't really a huge fan of it. The small nacelles kind of are detracting for me. But here's the designing the Prometheus section of the book. Great shot of the Prometheus up there. But yeah, complicated procedure designing a ship that can split into 3. Rick has some great versions here, and it's good to go back and listen to his talk on it that he did with our channel. Some really cool, informative stuff there. Rick's always fun to listen to, and the iterations that this ship went through, like that shape I really like. I do like this kind of thing added to the hull there, kind of like a a stealth fighter kind of vibe almost. Here is another early concept version of it, a little closer to the final version, but you can tell it's quite different. And here's an early CGI test animation of how it would split. There it actually had more separation planes. You got more things separating off there, but very well done. And here as well we've got how it separates, the clamps, you know, how there's a pop-up nacelle. Oh, it's more like a warp sustainer in the upper part, and just some different views of the different sections of the separated ship there, lower and upper, and fun stuff, fun little ship. Here it's on screen, its only appearance on screen, Message in a Bottle. It was also in Endgame, I believe, at the end, the very last episode where they finally made it back to Earth. It was one of the ships escorting them. So, there you have it. Ooh, next up is the Tholian Web Spinner, which I don't have yet. I don't have that ship, but maybe I'll do a review on that should I get it. So I'll have to check with Eaglemoss. On the back is a great shot of the ship. Usually they have a view of the ship from the top on the back of the book. This time it's the ship from the front in its multi-vector, I did it again, multi-vector assault mode. The 3 split ships there. And yeah, so that's the magazine, guys. Very information packed, this one. A lot of concept art and talking about designing this ship and how difficult it is to actually design a ship that can split and still look good and still be functional in those split aspects. Samuel and myself have tried designing one ourselves. We've had a lot of fun over the years, and maybe one day we'll come up with a good one and you'll see it. So taking it out, it's just the standard Eaglemoss size ship, so it's quite small, quite tiny. Oops. I dropped it. Unfortunately, it did not split, but I did break the back of the nacelle. Let me go fix that. As you can see there, I broke the back of the nacelle off. Maybe it'll focus. Right there. See, I broke that part off. Focus. Focus. There it is. See? Broke it. So I'm going to go give this a quick fix and I'll be right back. Alright. Let's take it out of the box. It is the standard Eaglemoss size. So quite small, quite tiny. There you go. You can see it's not very big at all, especially compared to my hand. It's quite small, which is a shame, but that's the problem with a lot of the Eaglemoss, regular Eaglemoss ships. I did drop it a moment ago while I was filming this, and it landed on this nacelle at the back there. As you can see, it's a little bit wonky because it landed right on that tip, bent that down, and snapped that part off. Luckily, I'm a model maker, so I have the glue. Just went down and fixed it. I might include that in a blooper reel. I don't know, but I was like, yeah, look, it's a small Eaglemoss. And of course I have a gray carpet. So that little tiny piece wasn't quite easy to find, but whatever. There it is. Let's take a look at some of the details on it now. Hopefully I don't drop it again and break it, but yeah. So starting off, I'm going to talk about that little nacelle at the top. You can see it nestled in there behind the bridge module, which is kind of a neat idea to have the retractable nacelle, but it's so small. When it pops up, it just looks stupid on the biggest part of the ship. I wish there were ones that slid out the side or something to be a little more substantial than that. You got these plated areas here. Not a lot of windows on the ship. It's not a very big ship. You got the classic Rick arrowhead design. He likes that arrowhead shape in his ships, and there's an evolution of his designs towards that, from the Intrepid to like the Dauntless, and as well as this one. It just seems to go from more of a spoon shape to like a point. He likes the pointed look. So we got the registry there. The registry looks good. A few escape pods. Nice Aztecing detailing, hull plating. It looks almost smudgy. So I don't know if I'd call it nice, but it does look like there's something going on there, and with the small size, it's perfectly fine. The impulse engines have a nice blue glow to them for some reason, both the front as well as the back. The RCS thrusters, both back here and up here, are a brown color, which is kind of a deviation a little bit from standard RCS thrusters that we see. The bottom of the saucer part, or the primary section, is very lacking in detail. There's a little bit of detail up here near the tip, and then of course the phaser strips, but the rest is just that standard hull plating, and there's no grid lines, there's no windows, there's just nothing going on there. That, I think, was a mistake, a missed opportunity. They could have added some detailing there, even some deflector grid lines would have been nice. We got that kind of deflector grid look back here, right there in that part, and more phaser strips there. The deflector is very plain, very small, and just painted blue, so there's no inset or anything like that. How much time do I have on this thing? My battery's gonna die. So moving to the nacelles, very small, very tiny, very detailed though. You got the banner on the top and bottom of them. They look good from the side. They got the clear insets, the blue and the red clear insets, which are really nice. And yeah, great looking nacelles, even though they are very small, but they're kind of growing on me that way. The spine has a lot of detailing, some really interesting details right behind this bridge module section at the front, or behind the warp sustainer that pops up. The shuttle bay, again, pretty good detail. The bottom of the secondary hull, like the sides of it, I think are really well detailed considering the size. You got the Star Trek or the Starfleet banner there. You've got the windows, some inset, some not, painted white, and a few alignment issues. No big deal there. Some darker stuff, some phaser strips along the bottom. The struts on the top have some nice detailing, some striping. On the bottom you got some deflector grid lines and some phaser strips on the struts, which looks good for the size. And some interesting detailing on the lower part of the shuttle bay. Not sure what exactly is all there, but sorry about that, guys, but my battery died, so I'm back. Talking about the lower part of the shuttle bay, I'm not exactly sure what is there, but that detailing is very interesting. There's a lot of fine detail on this for the size, but that lack of anything here, just this barren wasteland of huge wasted space, is a missed opportunity in my opinion. The bottom, you got some nice phaser banks, or phaser strips again, and maybe a warp core ejection port in that little circle there. So anyway, now's the time where I point out that when I dropped the thing, this upper part of the nacelle here actually kind of came away from the bottom. So I just snapped that back in, glued this little piece back on. It's not by any means perfect, but it's kind of an annoyance that happened. So just be careful with it. It is delicate, especially if you drop it on the nacelles. I don't know why you would. I didn't mean to. I was like, hey, look how small it is. Great! But anyway, it's time to go look at it on the stand and see how it holds up detail-wise. And come and join me over there, guys. Alright guys, so here she is on the stand. And you can get a better look at some of the details perhaps this way. I wish this thing could separate. I wish they could do saucer separation and stuff on these Eaglemoss ships. I think it really might add to the value of them, especially considering that, this is kind of a one-trick pony in that regard. That's what it does. It should be able to separate. Or they should sell perhaps a separated version with all three on one stand, multiple clear parts for the stand, and have all three sections represented in their split form. That would be kind of cool as well. But it's kind of a shame that it doesn't separate, but there's some nice glowing elements to those nacelles when they have light behind them. So that's a nice feature as well. That's why I like when they use the clear parts for the nacelles. But yeah, just beware, guys, because of the broken nacelle there. It's kind of hard to see. There you can see where it broke, and it's really tiny. Like, look at it compared to my finger. It was really tiny to get that little wedge back in there. Could do with some sanding to get some of that excessive or extra glue off. I just used CA glue and an accelerator to fix it. This bottom part was bent down. That's one of the reasons this popped off. So I bent it back up, slid that in, put the CA glue on it, and then shot it with the hardener, and it hardened up right away. So it's not perfect by any means, but for the purposes of this review, it's fine. So yeah, the lack of detail on the lower primary hull part there is a little bit annoying, as is the fragility of this and the size. But that being said, with that size issue, there is quite a bit of detail that is represented here. However, most of the good detailing on the secondary hull is, of course, obscured yet again by that style of stand, which I kind of have a problem with Eaglemoss. I don't like that the big bulky plastic is there. Yes, it's clear, but it really obscures a lot of the great features of the ships when they do that. So there it is, guys, the USS Prometheus. Fantastic little ship, really growing on me, like I said. The nacelles, I think, are a little too small in proportion to the rest of the ship. I'd lengthen them out and maybe beef them up a little bit, but other than that, it's Commander Cocking's favorite ship, so had to review it at some point. So guys, if you want to pick up your own version of the Prometheus, you can do so by clicking the link down below, heading on over to the Eaglemoss site. We are an affiliate member with them, so if you want to use the discount code Trekyards when you check out, you'll be able to save yourself some money on your order. So try that out, and hopefully we can help you guys out in that regard. So that's basically it, guys, for this Eaglemoss review. Oh, one thing we got to do, sorry. Lower shelf looks great from multiple angles. Sorry, I always do this, and I almost forgot this time. It's just been one of those days where nothing has gone right. I break my ship, the battery dies, Eye level shelf, meh. That's not a bad shot, but like I said, that stand really just hides all of the ship. There's not much to look at. An angle like that is kind of cool. Similar to like the Baran from Discovery with the X-Wing formation, which looks kind of neat on Starfleet ships if they do it properly. So there's that. And if you put it on an upper shelf, again, it looks good on an upper shelf. You got, especially if you have a light behind it, you got the glow from the nacelles, and it looks good from a lot of different angles. But again, that bulky stand, I think, kind of gets in the way a little bit, which is a shame. And of course, there you see all the lack of detail on that primary section. So take that for what it's worth, guys. Hopefully that helped you guys out in deciding whether this is something you want to pick up. And just remember, it's fragile. Don't drop it. I'd say that with all the Eaglemoss ships, but this is the first one I've ever dropped. Didn't come broken. I broke it. But it's easily fixable if you know what you're doing. And like I said, I just got to file some of that down and make it look a little bit better. But there you go. So, as always, guys, that's it for this review. Please subscribe to both channels. And please don't forget to check out other videos by us. If you're not a subscriber, by all means subscribe, hit notification icon, and watch some videos from us. We got a lot of great stuff. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.